In this video, I'd like to cover some customization options for our newly installed audio player for our streaming audio. So first off, let's head on over to our dashboard and we come on down here to the settings tab, and with that open, we click on the audio player so we can check out some of the settings here. And under the general tab, you see we've got a few tabs we can mess with here. Under the general tab, we've got some options here where this one's default check, so I just leave it alone. Usually most anything that's default, I just leave it alone. But for those of you that are curious, if you happen to have additional MP3 files already installed on other posts in your blog that maybe were set up for download links, or you were using another player that just didn't trip your trigger, well, you can click this guy right here and that will change all of those MP3 files into the player that we see here. So that way you don't have to go back through all of your posts if it's a well seasoned blog and do that manually. Click of a button, come on down here, and of course any changes you make here, you want to click on save changes here so they will actually take effect. And you want to enable comments, enclosure integration, move enclosures to the beginning of the post. And this one here, frankly, I would just leave this one alone. I wouldn't mess with it. But if you've got the need to have your audio files not where they are default, that is where we uploaded them to in the prior video, our gallery or our media files folder, then you can always change that right here. And just to make doubly sure, if you decide to do that, then you click on verify to make sure that your blog is checking them out, that it can actually find those files. Otherwise, you can keep tweaking this until you actually find it by clicking on the verification here. So with that said, let's check out a few more options we can mess with. Display, you can actually change the look and feel of that player from the pretty decent looking gray and black, and as you hover over this, it'll also turn white, the arrow there, and whenever you click on it, it opens up to a certain length. Well, that length is 290 pixels wide, and you can adjust that right here if you want it less or more, depending upon the look and the layout of your particular setup of your blog. Now, let's say that you've got a particular color scheme of your blog that you want to adhere this player to, and it's not gray. So you can make those adjustments right here, and if you can choose whatever portion of this player you want to make those adjustments to. Your background color, and let me just show you what I'm talking about here. Currently, this shows you the current color. You can click here and make it red. Okay, that shows you exactly what the background area is that they're referring to here. And if you, by the way, the color choices are in hexadecimal. If you know the exact hexadecimal code for the color you're looking for to maybe exactly match that scheme on your blog, then you're in business. All you have to do is put that in here. Now, if you do not know the exact hexadecimal code and you want to, well, here's a pretty cool tool that I use. Now, this is working for the Firefox browser. So if you have another browser, Opera, Safari, Internet Explorer, this may not work for you, but for those of you that are in Firefox, this will work just fine. Right down here in the lower left hand corner of my status bar is the color picker for, it's kind of an add-on, it's called Colorzilla. If I double click that to open it up, you'll see what I'm talking about. Colorzilla Color Picker. And you don't have to necessarily double click on it to open it up to get what I'm going to show you. Cancel this out here. But if you want this and you are a Firefox browser user, it's just an add-on. You come on up here to Tools, click on Add-ons, do a search for Colorzilla, kind of like FileZilla, Godzilla, only in this case it's Colorzilla, and then do a quick install. And if you've never installed add-ons or plugins before for your Firefox browser, it's completely painless and very easy. It'll just it'll kind of guide you through. It'll ask you to, it'll give you kind of an error or a warning message first saying, hey, do you trust this guy? Go ahead and click on yeah, okay, install it. Then it'll ask you to reboot your browser, and more times than not, whenever it starts up again, all the tabs that you had open before will also open up again. So then that way you're right back here. Now that with this in play, let me move over here to our blog again. Let's say, because there's really not a whole lot to this, but let's say your particular theme has a whole lot of colors. Kind of like the one that we had before that wasn't working with this. That has a lot of browns and different shades of beige and browns and yellows and whites. Well, in this case, we're going to go with the two-tone blue here. We've kind of got a gradient from a darker blue to a lighter blue. Now if we click on this just once, then you get the crosshairs, and you can see down here as we move our cursor over different color schemes, it'll pick it up and it'll give us all kinds of, it'll give us the RGBs, it'll give us the hexadecimal and all kinds of cool stuff. So if we were to click right here, just single click, it'll freeze it and it'll give us this number right here. This is the hexadecimal code, 4384BA. I think that was it, and if not, it's close enough. So anyway, that's how you can get the hexadecimal code, the exact hexadecimal code for what you're looking for to match exactly your color scheme on your blog. And you can just go on down here and make the adjustments accordingly on the other portions of this particular player. And let me see here. Oh yeah, and if you don't really care, you just want to get close, we got the color picker right here. So you can make those adjustments accordingly as well. Lots of options, lots of options. And if we scroll on down here, page background color, you'll leave it as transparent, that'll be cool too. And disable animation, show remaining time. Again, play around with these different options, see which ones fit your particular wants and needs, and you're good to go. The RTL, as it says down here, whenever you want to change the play and open mode from left to right, you can change it to right to left. And head on over to feed options. So if you weren't aware of this, for your RSS feeds, things like this, your audio player, your video players, they're not going to show up. But rather than just having a blank spot there on the feed, you'll have some text that says something to this effect. And you can make this text whatever you want. Again, in this case, I think it's just fine the way that it is. But you can have this a little bit of adjustments here if you'd like. And moving on to podcasting, if you do a lot of podcasting, maybe you not only post text versions of your blog posts, but also audio versions, and you do this on a real regular basis, well, for a little bit of consistency, then you might consider having an opening background music or an opening audio and a closing audio for each and every one of those, just to give it more of a consistent feel, maybe even a brand, if you will. And you can do that without having to actually add those clips in addition to your post clip. You don't have to do that. You can just do it right here. You can put in your pre-appended audio clip right here and your post-appended, your exit or closing audio. And that way you've got the same audio clip opening and closing on each one of your podcasts. Again, gives it a more of a consistent feel. And again, any changes or additions you make here, click on Save Changes or it won't take effect. Then under Advanced, you've got a lot more cool stuff you can play with. And frankly, all of this default is just fine for me, but if you find the need, you've got it right here where you can make those changes. If a lot of your visitors to your blog might be on dial-up or have a slow internet access, you can adjust the buffer to the playing of your audio right here. Pretty cool stuff. So that's going to bring us to the end of how to customize your audio player. So hopefully you learned a lot and you're able to now get out there and add streaming audio to your posts and do so without spending a dime. Thank you very much for watching this video. You have a great day.